Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another edition of the Gadget Show, and it's the one you've all been waiting for, to be honest. I've been waiting for it all week, you've been waiting for it all week. A lot of very positive feedback we're getting from everyone, so thank you so much for everyone watching and supporting us. We have the same format for you again, but obviously new and wonderful things, but none of this would be possible without our in-house gadget expert, Mr. Raman. How are you?
I'm very well, Usman, thank you.
How's your week been?
Well, it's been busy. Obviously, we've been sorting out, gadgets for the forthcoming episodes. And as we've discussed, obviously, what we want to do is do a three-part series of focusing on products, gadgets, toys, gifts, which could form everybody's, shopping list in terms of Christmas as well as New Year shopping list. So obviously, we've been very busy this week.
Very busy this week. And how are you taking on the mantle of being the gadget expert? I had a quick browse on your social networking pages. A lot of people asking you loads of different questions now.
Well, I guess I think I've reached a point where it is at some point in time going to be crunch time for me. So should I continue on that, or should I start popping in new information? I think we'll have to decide, where we go from here. But yeah, thanks for the response which is coming in on the blog, on the Twitter, and obviously on our blog, on our website as well.
Yes.
Which is positive.
But so obviously we start the show as we always do. We're talking about the latest in what's been happening in the news and features.
Definitely.
So what have we got?
Well, I think the biggest thing which is happening in the market, which a lot of us realize, is that the tablet war, which is happening in the market, and there's a lot of consolidation happening on that front. So you have a three-horse race as of now, which is the Android based tablets, you have the iOS, and then you have Windows coming in through the phone first. But apart from that, there are a couple of other manufacturers who have brought their own readers out. So for example, last week Barnes & Noble, which is one of the largest bookstores and publishing, they have about 700 stores in the US, they brought out their own e-reader, which is called the Nook.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously we've had a couple of other readers from other manufacturers like Samsung, LG, a lot of Japanese manufacturers who have. And obviously what has happened is it's leading to consolidation. So what you do get to see is one of the biggest acquisitions which has happened in the last couple of days is the retail. There was a e-reader called Kobo, and Rakuten, which is a Japanese internet giant. Obviously that is the #1 portal in Japan as far as internet shopping is concerned, and they have brought that as an ebook reader. So that's a news which is I think going to be around for quite some time, and I do feel that there is a lot of consolidation which is to happen, because the market is about 60 million odd tablets which are going to be shipped, and Apple is sitting dominant on that pie at about 50%. But a lot of other players who are getting into the market and have an ecosystem around them, which is either an online store or they have an ecosystem in and around products and gadgets, they are now bringing on products to kind of counteract this in the market. So,
something which you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, at the time I wasn't really aware of it, but now I've seen it in the news and I just thought, oh, Roman told me that, was the Kindle Fire.
Yes.
Obviously a lot of people are saying it's taking a lot of business away from the iPad.
Yes.
So what's the new features on that as opposed to the normal Kindle that everyone's seen on the TV, where it looks kind of black and white? It looks kind of, to me it looks a little bit boring, but what's the Kindle Fire bringing to the table?
See, what they've done is, this is something called the disruptive innovation, and obviously what they're trying to do is they're trying to introduce a product in the market which is going to, I would say, disrupt the traditional business model. So Apple, which is sitting dominant, a lot of Android players who are bringing out products are sitting quite nice with the market share. What Kindle has done is, what Amazon rather has done is, they've introduced something called, they were the first ones to bring out the ebook reader. And now what they've done is they brought out the Kindle Fire. Now what they've tried to do is bring out a full-fledged tablet offering. Before this, if you look at the product, was only an ebook reader. That means you could download digital copies of the book, you could carry it anywhere. It was subscription based, and obviously it is electronic or ink paper, and which is predominantly meant for reading. But with the market expanding and Apple kind of setting the standards, the iPad, what now they have done is they brought out a competitor, or a so-called competitor, which basically offers a lot of things from the Amazon ecosystem, which is to do with Amazon shopping, books, music, DVDs, and the whole experience of the user having to interact and get everything within that 7-inch screen. What they've definitely done is they brought out something which is smaller, lighter, and they brought it out at a price which is far cheaper than the iPad.
It's a lot cheaper.
I think it's about $199 in the US.
That's what I've read as well. Yeah, so that's very competitively priced.
I think at some point in time they will try and subsidize some part of their margins through obviously the ecosystem that they have, rather than just making money on the hardware alone. So it's a nice strategy, and I think at some point in time it remains to be seen. It's a rich company. It has it's deep pockets, and obviously they've taken this risk. They brought out a product which everybody said is quite late in the market, but I think because of the ecosystem that they have, it should create some traction for them in the market.
Another thing, which again, you've been talking about for quite a few weeks now, and again now I've been putting on my TV and I've started seeing the adverts for, we mentioned it last week as well, was the Lumia series.
That's correct.
All the adverts have started on all the channels.
Yes.
Remember where you heard it first.
I think it was the Nokia world wherein they unveiled this particular new phone, and there's a lot of expectation riding on it, to the fact that Microsoft, when you look at, because of this tie-up between both a handset giant, and when you look at, they're trying to revive their strategy. The Windows Phone, there's a massive, I think, if I get this right, it's a massive 150 times bigger phone which has been installed, which is an exact replica of the Windows Phone in New York's Times Square, and you can literally see it from quite a far distance. And I think what we are now expecting them to see is, we've obviously seen the phones in various retail outlets like Carphone Warehouse and stuff, but I think the phone actually starts shipping in the UK on the 18th. And a lot of customers who are on the verge of buying new devices or are at the end of their contracts, they will be tempted by the offers which they bring out to basically switch to Windows Phone and obviously Nokia Lumia.
Yeah.
So it's an all in all a story which remains quite hot, and I think it'll unfold in the next couple.
It's just nice to see everything that we've been talking about over the past few weeks obviously materialize now, and everything's coming out slowly but surely. For gamers out there, obviously we are talking about presents, etc. For people who are very big gamers, they will know that this week saw the release of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which broke all records. People are trying to get online with it, having a lot of problems with it and things like that. But that is the biggest game which is out there at the moment. It never seems to shock me which are the type of players for this particular game. Firstly, I assumed it would be young children, but I know girls that are playing this game. I know older men that are playing this game. The appeal of the game is just so broad.
I think what I will say in this aspect is that because of the installed base of the consoles in the market, so if you look at the Xbox and the PS3, and obviously the PC side of gaming, a lot of people still prefer to do PC gaming, but a lot of us have actually tried that. The Xbox have moved on to PS3 or have both of them at home. Me for one obviously has both, but when you look at that, I think this is an evolution. So you play one game and you play it to the fullest, and then you're waiting for it to bring out a next level. And I think that is where hopefully we'll review that in our studio, and obviously we'll pick this up in a greater detail. But obviously the response on this has been tremendous, as I see from obviously the online
it does seem to have just evolved into something which is not just a very niche market, because when growing up, these types of games tend to be for the hardcore gamer, but now it's evolved to be very much more the casual gamer, pick it up, kind of play for a couple of hours on a weekend and just kind of
Absolutely, I
keep
agree.
going.
Absolutely, I agree. And I think Xbox and PS3s and consoles have become something which are a part of our lives, and most of us have that at home. And because of that fact, I think Christmas season, New Year coming in, and obviously you will see a barrage of launches happening on some of these games. So obviously they've been first to the market. Fantastic response so far, and I think it has. If I'm not too sure on the date, I think it has gone on sale or going on sale on the 14th.
Speaking of gaming, even though Sony with the PlayStation and Microsoft with the Xbox are doing very well, in the news recently we've heard that obviously Nintendo and obviously Sega have been hit very, very hard with the evolution of the iPads, the phones, etc. because of obviously it's so easy to download a game on your phone. The things like we used to have, we used to have the Mega Drives and the handheld version, Game Boys, and all of these things, they're becoming obsolete.
I think one of the things which the tablet market has transformed is they have done away, or they've eaten into the market of handheld consoles.
Yep.
So if you look at the Sony PSP and the Nintendo,
They've been hit very hard.
They've been hit very hard. In fact, Nintendo has brought out the Nintendo DS now, and which is 3D. And I think that was launched a couple of months back. But if you look at the kind of goals that they've set in the market to try and achieve sales, but vis-a-vis what they've achieved, I think they're falling short on that because of a simple reason. Some of these tablet devices, if you look at, they have great screen resolution, they have dual core processors, and obviously with so much in terms of developers community around them and developing so many games, I think it's a click of a button. You just basically it's a three-click process.
It's very cheap as well.
Absolutely.
Compared to going out physically buying a
Cartridges
game.
And
You can buy, like we were talking about last week, Angry Birds. You can buy that for pennies. You can buy that for what, 69 pence or something like that.
Absolutely.
So
correct.
why would you go out and pay £20, £30, £40 for a single game when it's available on your phone, on your iPad for a couple of pounds, even for the top game?
Very correct. And I think because of the simple fact that it's a three-click process, so you basically go and find the game, search, you click on it, and you install, and you're up and running. So it's easy. It's an easy, I would say, scenario wherein you discover, you download, and you start playing straight instantly. As against the whole idea of going out in the market, buying it, changing the cartridge.
It caters for the impulse buyer as well, to be honest.
Absolutely, absolutely. And with the other thing which they've done, obviously the innovation is they've created light versions. And light versions would mean that you could try the game first, which is normally, in most cases, free. You like the app, and then you download the paid app, or you do in-app purchases. And that is obviously refined the market. And for them, I think they're having to do a bit of catch-up.
Right. We've talked a lot about what's been going on at the moment, so I think we're going to move on to actually reviewing certain products which we have in the studio with us. Would you like to tell us what we're going for first?
I think what we're going to do is basically this week, I picked up a product which is, all of us have been hit hard by recession, and obviously we are cutting expenses here and there and trying to make ends meet. I think one of the things that we are looking at is showing you a product which is called a savometer, which basically allows you to monitor your usage of electricity and gas on a daily basis. Basis your appliances in the house, and obviously lets you keep a tab on things in terms of what is being used, how much is being used, and that is one thing which a lot of us do get from our energy suppliers. Some of them offer it free, but that has evolved into a living room kind of a gadget wherein it nicely sits in your living room, gives you the temperature, gives you the humidity, gives you the readings, and obviously you can monitor appliances. I think that's one of the products that I picked up this week. And apart from that, obviously we've been receiving suggestions, in terms of we are out and about, and obviously we are looking at buying, gifts for Christmas and for the New Year. A lot of parents have been writing into us saying that, okay, what do you suggest in terms of latest toys? Can you cover some gadgets and things like that? So we've got a whole thing there, but obviously we'll try and cover a couple of them in this episode.
Fantastic. So are we going to start with the
savometer?
Yeah, let's go for that.
Well, this is obviously the device that we are looking at, which is called the savometer. And obviously this, as you can see, has a nice large LED display screen.
As you can see on the screen there, we've got still.
Yeah. And obviously when you look at this, it's pretty simple to operate. It's got a center home button. And on the top here, it's got a mode button. And this device, the way it works is it comes with an attachment. And if I just keep this down for a second, this device actually comes with a wireless transmitter and an attachment. Now, for us to try and find out how much electricity are we using, there is a slight piece of hardware which actually gets clicked to your main cable, which is coming in through the meters to your house. And obviously you just basically plug it there,
around
clip
the wire.
it, the wire, just clip it on, and obviously hook it up to this wireless transmitter.
Obviously there's no exposed wires, nothing to use. It's just literally wrap it around, click it in place, and then it's ready to go.
Yeah, and the best thing about it is the wireless transmitter and the display unit actually comes with rechargeable batteries. So you're up and running for about easily 12 months, and obviously I'll explain a bit more. And all you do is basically, once that is done, you plug this in and then configure this wireless transmitter with your base unit. So once this is configured with your base unit, this thing remains outside with your power cable. There is a separate attachment for which we have a picture, and I guess you'll see that on the screen, which is an attachment for the gas. And this is the actual product sitting on the cradle. There's another picture that we will bring on, which is an attachment like this, but obviously for the gas. Yeah, that's something separate that you can purchase, and depending on the gas meter that you have, you can actually clip that onto your gas meter as well. And obviously with this being for electric, and the picture that you saw just on the screen for the gas allows you to monitor both gas as well as electricity. So though we have received a response, and obviously we've got some of these coming in from British Gas, Eon, and this is from a different company which basically is selling it separately. Okay. And what it does is, the unique thing about this is that it allows you to monitor gas as well. So there's an attachment for gas that you can get, and obviously which allows you to do that. Now, as you can see on the screen, obviously we have not connected it so far, but if you press on this button, it gives you a graph here, which basically shows your energy consumption on a daily basis, and obviously during different points in time during the course of the day. This bubble here shows you the weather. And obviously this thing here shows you the relative humidity, and also shows you the temperature. Now we've seen other meters like these from different energy suppliers, but obviously what they do is they just show you the usage, the usage in terms of the kilowatt hours, the units that you've used, but doesn't give you the additional extra features of humidity, temperature, and things like that. Now this is not just it. If you click on the mode button, obviously what it tries to do is give you the total electricity that we used, total electricity that you used in the last week, total electricity that you've used in the last month, so you can obviously track, and obviously apart from that, last quarter, and then last year. So obviously it helps you to track what has been my energy bill and do I need to switch. And at the same point in time here, which is showing 00 on this particular space, it'll actually show you, the actual unit rate for the electricity. And if it's gas, when you select a particular mode, it'll show you a gas bubble here, and it'll show you the unit for that particular amount of gas that you're using. Apart from that, it also shows you your total carbon dioxide emissions. Wow. Which is something which is, at the end of the day, I've used this much electricity, I've used this much gas, which is what has contributed to this much in terms of emission. The other thing is this device obviously has 14 different modes, and you can select them. A nice cradle, so that means obviously it comes with something which is called a cradle. And because it has rechargeable batteries, you place the cradle, and then obviously what you do is plug it in and it recharges the batteries nicely sitting in your living room. If you want to charge the wireless unit, the same cradle actually charges your wireless unit, because it comes with again rechargeable batteries which has been supplied with the unit. And if you don't want to use the cradle always, obviously once the batteries are charged, you can pull this handle out and obviously keep it nicely somewhere in your living room. So all in all, a very good a meter, as they call it. It's a servo meter, and it is from a company called Eco1. But I think this is one of the gadgets, the reason why we brought this on to the show is that because we are looking at savings, and energy bills are 10% of our outgoings. I think this is one of the things that we would recommend. Obviously we do see that there are other products available, but we will I will personally say that this is an intelligent piece of gadget which allows you to monitor everything, and I think you can be on top of things in terms of the outgoings to the energy companies. So one of the products which we've covered this week, and it's called the servo meter. Quite light and handy.
It's quite a nice one. So for details of how much this is, etc., we will talk about this just a little bit more. We are going for a very short commercial break, so do not go anywhere.